All right, we are live. Well, thank you again for tuning in today for another episode of Work from Anywhere and Leverage the Internet. Um, my name is Anne Kalima, your host. So we had started this series since February where we are showcasing business partners from our global community where they share their experience, their perspective on this business that we're doing. And why are we doing it? It's just to educate you on the business that we do. There's so many things on the internet, so we just want to shed some light on what we do. Maybe inspire someone who needs a change in their life. You want to learn something new, you want to start your own business. So this is just a way for you to learn more about what we do. And why not encourage somebody who's been on the fence for a while and need just that little extra push to go to the next level. So today, our guest is coming from Canada. We try to get people from different places to make it interesting. Our guest is coming from BC, and you'll hear about her very soon. But just want to ask you, the one that are joining now, tell us where you're joining from. And again, if you're just hopping now, just good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're connecting from. We're happy that you're here. Thank you for your viewership. And we'll start in a bit. So without further ado, I'll bring up my guest. And then let's get it started.
Bonjour, Anne.
Bonjour, Katie.
How are you?
I'm very good, and I'm really happy to be with you here today. Thank you for responding to our invites. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much. And I just have to say, I love your introduction, and it just gets me even more excited about sharing this journey with our viewers. So thank you to everybody who's watching with the live, or if you catch
Hi,
our
Nina. My coach is there. Woo-hoo. Thank you. Go ahead. So tell us about yourself, Katie. And I know I've been trying to get you on. We had both of us on our side, just, life happening to us. But thank God we're still here. And
Yes.
we just want to know all about you. So
well,
tell us
I do. Yourself. Yeah, I love to. And I do want to say thank you again. Life does happen. And that's one of the reasons why I know for me personally that I was so excited about starting an online business, because I would have the flexibility and support of a global community to do my business on my own time and on my own terms. And so I just extend a sincere thanks to you, my friend, for your flexibility in setting up this interview. It's a long time coming.
Yes, I know. So tell us, did you have, first of all, did you have previous experience online, like you before doing this business? Were you doing something?
Well, I wasn't technically doing anything online, although I did have a brick and mortar store at one point. So I owned a franchise, and I did that for about 6 years. And as you know, if you are in business anywhere, you still have to have an online presence, because that's the first place that people look to see where you are located, what your hours are, what services you provide, all that. And so if you're not online, even if you have a brick and mortar location, you have to have some sort of presence. So I did have a little bit of experience just because of that. I needed to get my business out there. But it was different than running an online business. And, to be honest, it was exhausting, because I was also, in addition to running the brick and mortar store and taking care of inventory and staffing and, the hours of operation and the utilities and all that stuff. Wow. I was also taking care of the online component of the business. So it was basically like having two businesses. So when I discovered that people were making money online, I thought, well, why wouldn't you do that? Because then you just ditch the physical location and you're running your business globally, and there's just no reason not to. I mean, it's just that much easier. So
very much so. Thank you for just telling us that. One thing I want you to know, although, I know I asked you to introduce yourself, but just so our viewers know a little more about you, and then we'll progress.
Sure.
I know you have kids, so.
I do. I have 3 kids. I have a 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So it's been a busy couple years.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I live here on Vancouver Island. It's really beautiful here. I love calling Vancouver Island home, but I didn't grow up here. I actually grew up in the States. So I moved up about 2008. I moved to Canada,
Okay.
and I moved up from Las Vegas, where I was working at Cirque du Soleil. So I don't know, some of you probably heard of Cirque du Soleil, and it was an amazing experience for me, life-changing, truly. I loved working for that company, and it was hard to just make the leap. You know, I'm kind of a leap of faith person. If I get those feels that I'm headed in the right direction, even if it's something that terrifies me, I trust my instincts and I have faith in the process. And so when I met my now husband, we met while I was actually on vacation. And I was living in Las Vegas. Yeah, we met in Canada. I was on vacation visiting a friend of mine up here, and we met, and there were sparks, and I saw a future. And so 2 months later, I quit my job at Cirque, and I moved up to Canada to be with him. And, you know, that was in 2008. So obviously it worked out for us.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah, me too. It's been an amazing journey. And, you know, a lot of people said I was crazy, and a lot of people were worried about us. Oh, wow. And rightfully so. But you know what? When you have that sense of faith and that direction in your life, you just have to see it through. And so that's actually something that I see as a common theme in my life, because it's also what happened when I started my online business. Because a lot of people thought I was crazy, and they were worried because they thought, oh, there's so many sketchy things out there. And I said, you know what? I've got this feeling. I'm going to have faith in the process and see where it takes me. And it has been an incredible journey of 2 years now that I've been an online business owner, and I don't regret a minute of my decision to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me, so how did you come across it? Were you from somebody who told you about it, or from an ad, or what was your experience?
I actually had a friend. So I had my kids. When I had the business, the franchise, I was also pregnant with our third, and I thought, okay, this is maybe not going to work out, because you know, when you have a full family that you're focusing on, but you also have a business that you're in charge, you know, you're responsible for, you know, I had staff, and I had you know, everything that I was worrying about there, but I was also putting in, you know, sometimes 80 or so hours a week on that business. And, you know, the bottom line is that if you can't afford to pay somebody to do your job for you as a business owner, you're not going to ever, you can't make a profit if you're giving your profit away to your staff. And so it's really hard, because you kind of have to do so many things for yourself, or else you're not going to get a paycheck. And that's just the hard reality of being a small business owner in some situations. So anyway, we decided that we had to walk away from that business. And it was a really hard decision for me. It was really painful, and I felt like a total failure. And then I had my daughter, and I was really grateful actually for the time that I had with her, because I was able to stay at home with her for that time. But after about a year, I had to go back to work, and I really didn't want to. So I was waiting tables during the day. That was the only job that I could find that had flexible hours, so that I could still go and pick up my son from school. And I really didn't, I mean, I'm good at it. I kind of enjoyed components of it, but I really didn't want to do that kind of work anymore. And so it was hard for me. So I was dropping her off at daycare, and the person who was doing our daycare was a friend of mine too, because, you know, you see them every day at drop off and pickup. So, you know, part of the family. Yes. So she told me she was doing this business online. And I was afraid for her. I thought, okay, what did she get herself into? Oh dear. And I thought, oh, she's going to try and sell me something. And I just didn't want to do it. And I said, well, that's great. Let me know how it goes. Good luck to you. And and then she left it at that. She didn't push me. She didn't say anything else. But I watched her. And every day when I saw her, I would pick up my kids, and I would see her changed. Like she was there was a lightness about her. She had started, she bought her daughter a new car and a laptop, and she got her son his soccer shoes. And, like she was just, there was no, like the stresses of her day-to-day life were just kind of melting away. And I thought, what is going on with her? Like, I don't know. This is something's different
for myself.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to ask again. And I was like, okay, so what's different with you? And she said, it's this business. Like, you should really check it out. And I wasn't even on social media at the time. I had ditched my Facebook account altogether. And she said, well, you have to be on Facebook to do it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm really not that tech savvy. And she was like, you know what? Just watch the webinar. And so she gave me a link to this free online info session. I watched the info session, and it was the same thing as when I jumped into moving in with my husband and moving to Canada. I got this feeling, this tingling sign. It was like a sign. It was like, this is the next thing for you, and have faith because it's going to happen. And you're here at the right time, and you're just find out more, just take the next step and have faith. And I did. And that was 2 years ago. Wow. And we've been on this journey together. She's my friend. She and I have just been on this amazing path of discovery and growth and learning and financial and, personal rewards as well. So.
For sure. Well, thank you for sharing your testimony and your story. And even in the audience, people are liking your story. And it's important. We all have different stories, and we appeal to different people's life. And it's really great. So thank you for doing that. And yes, some people might just get on board, just like you said, by seeing just how the changes in somebody's life. Like you said, I want it for myself. And that's even why we're doing those live interviews. Just to encourage people and say, okay, you're not by yourself, or maybe I'm in your shoes. I've been there, I have family, I want something else for myself, and I see how maybe somebody's more joyful because they have more flexibility in their life, how they have, maybe they spend more time with their families, or, there's abundance in their life. Like you said, you start seeing stuff. And I think that's the best, testimony we can give, to the people that are watching us, or, trying to get inside it. So that's really great. I
agree. And I think that's the thing that I love so much about the webinars that we do every week is that there's so many people in this business community who want to share their story because it has changed their lives. And it's it's really emotional because it's big changes. Like, we're not talking about like little nickel and dime stuff. This is life-changing, and it's happening to people all around the world who are taking that step. And so when you watch these testimonials on the info session that we do, it's always different people sharing their story. So I even remember the first time that I watched the info session, I remember there was a couple who shared their journey, and they were from Vancouver, but more importantly, the man was a chef and his wife was doing this business on the side. And so my husband is actually a chef too. And so when I heard their testimonial, and they owned a small business, he's a restaurateur, and I thought, oh my gosh, if they can do it, I can do it, because this is like this is like us.
It resonated with you. Yeah.
And so I just thought, oh my gosh, like this is possible. And not only is it possible, people are doing it, and they're growing, they're creating a legacy for their families, and they're changing their bottom line month after month after month, and quitting their jobs. And it just blew my mind that this was possible in such a short amount of time.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm blown away just by, seeing you, and, I can already see that, this positive impact of this business on your life. But for somebody who's just hopping on right now or never heard of this business, what is this business about?
So basically it's a proven online business model where you can connect with unlimited training and support to learn how to leverage the internet to make an income. So we use social media platforms and, interviews like this, although you don't have to. You don't do it right away. I thought I was going to die the first time I came online to do an interview. It took me weeks to get ready for it. But, it's up to you to kind of design a business that works around your life and your schedule. And you can do it on your own time and on your own terms because it's global. It's wherever you are because it's you're connected to the internet, and it's all just what you design and the time that you put into the training and the resources that are available to you. And then we have a system that's proven. We don't share the details until you're ready to learn, because we have to protect our intellectual property and the system that works for us. But once you take the next step to learn more, we share all the secrets with you and we get you started on your business. So our job is to mentor you so that you can do what we're doing and earn those high revenue commissions just like we are.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you. Yes, like you said, even for my own experience, I couldn't do this, live interviews like before. It was not me. It was not my personality. I'm a finance accounting background. Just leave me on my corner. Let me work on my numbers. I don't want to be. I wasn't even on social media much. It's just because of this.
Yeah.
But I'm also enjoying it because I'm connecting with people, meeting new people like you. And it's fun. I'm just going with the flow, and I'm discovering myself in some way because I never knew. A few months back, you asked me, I was like, no, I don't think so. I can do it, but like you said, when some people maybe hop on our pages, they see maybe those interviews that we're doing. Maybe they think we've been doing it for a long time. But no, that's the self-development we're getting, the confidence we're getting, and that's for me. But then, I just want you to stress again what the impact have been on your life, on your family, and your environment.
Absolutely. Well, and I know for me, one of the things that I've gained from being my own boss in an online business has been the confidence, like you just said, because I never in 1,000 years would have put myself out there like this. But, that's one of the reasons that I do it is because I have so much faith in this system. And it's not only that, it's that I do my business with integrity, and I wouldn't put my name on something that wasn't deserving of that. And because there's no reason to jeopardize your own reputation on something that's not legitimate, right? And so I think that that's something that's really important for me to be able to share with my friends and family and followers on my pages, because I wouldn't be doing something that didn't feel right to me. And so that matters a lot. And, and even too, for you, like being a finance accountant numbers person and seeing the value and the possibility and the potential of a business like this, I think that really validates what it is that we do, because you're not going to take that lightly, right? Like you see the numbers and you know that they're real. And so it's like, okay, well, this is enough. Like, let's do this.
Yes. Definitely. And for the people who will maybe join in the replay or anything, so just want to assure you again that it's a legitimate business, and even the community have been there now for 4 years. And it's still growing by numbers. Every day, I didn't even check today how many we are. But when I started, probably around 58,000 and something like that. But we're already over 80.
Yeah,
I believe so. Just to tell you that, if it was a scam or something, of course, we would have been shut down already, and it wouldn't be around till now. But people are still joining in, and it means that there's something, because otherwise people wouldn't be doing that. And we're taking the time to do this because we don't want to keep it a secret for ourselves. If we've been blessed by it, we want to bless others, and that's why we're even going through all this effort and doing this. So, like you said, the requirement, we have the training, we have the tools to help you. So from somebody, I heard somebody say from Yale to jail, you could do this. So you don't need, a specific profile to do this,
Yeah.
like, maybe previous business experience, or maybe you need to be a lawyer to do this, or, an accountant to do this. Not everybody can do it. But I think, like you said, when I heard you, since we started, that you need to have a certain mindset to be able to do that. And I know you even intervene in some of our mastermind on it. So can you tell us what's would be the importance of mindset in this kind of business?
Sure. I think that it's really critical to have a desire for change and self-improvement. So that's one of the key components of what we offer as a supportive community. So the mentorship and the training, you have to be willing to learn and flexible to grow. And so, it's funny because you hear people say that all the time, and you see motivational quotes all the time on everybody's feed. But when you actually try and take those words to heart and you think, how willing am I to change? How flexible am I to grow? And a lot of people find a lot of fear in that, or hesitation. And so you have to be kind of honest with yourself about what it is that you want and how it is that you're going to get there, and be open to the path that is going to connect you to those points. And so for me, when I discovered this business and I saw that it was not only about professional improvement or development or financial gain, but also about your headspace and the kind of dedication that it takes to make change. Because the whole key root of the word entrepreneur is, it's all about rising above the rest, right? I mean, not everybody can be an entrepreneur, because that's why there are so many other jobs out there. It's like there's one boss and there's 20 employees, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, you might risk more, but you also have more gains, right? Like you get the bigger rewards. And so you have to be willing and flexible and strong and have your vision and make a plan and put your plan into action. And that's what gets you closer to your dreams.
Wow. Thank you, Katie. Have you faced any challenges or anything? I mean, we all do some way, somehow. Maybe it might be different for different people. But you've been 2 years in the business now. If you had any challenge, what are they?
Definitely, I would say the technology side of things can be a bit of a challenge for me. But thankfully, we have this step-by-step training system. So everything is available to you to troubleshoot. So not only is the training system there, the module is incredible, and it's always constantly updated, so that, the internet changes every day. And so we keep updating our training systems constantly. And so that's great. But I also have, a global team of people who are just a click away. So I can say, hey, listen, I'm having trouble with this. And I throw it out there to my coaching community, and I get feedback from people from all over the world on how to troubleshoot that. So that has been huge for me. Like, if I would have tried to do this on my own, I would have given up after like 3 months, I think, because there's no way, like, all the different things that you need to have in place to be able to, I mean, it's great that people think, okay, well, I'm going to make money online, or I'm going to start drop shipping, or I'm going to start an Amazon or eBay or whatever. And it's like, that's fine. Like, people do that, but you have to be super organized, and you have to be able to invest quite a bit in some of that software programs, and like you have to get a website and all that stuff. And instead, you could just plug into our automated system that's already set up and running, and catch our momentum and hit the ground running and be ready to start making money in like 2 weeks. Right? Like it's all on your terms, and it's your time, and you go through the training on your own pace, and then you're ready to go. And I really do think that if I would have tried this on my own, I wouldn't have made it a couple months. And it's been 2 years now, and I'm growing. My business is growing. My connections in the community are growing. Like you said, I love being on the training, the masterminds. I just, that brings me so much joy. And that's one of the things that I think that I've been missing in my life and other job experiences, is just the opportunity for me to teach and support others and just share my passion, because I think that a lot of people don't find their passion early enough in life, and they just go through the steps of doing their paychecks and getting in that grind, and then that's life, and they are here. If you think differently about your time and you think differently about what you have to offer, there are plenty of ways for you to share your passion with the world. And you just have to find, your people, your audience, like the people who appreciate what you can offer, and the community that will support you as well as you can support them. So
awesome. Just like you said, the good thing about this community is that we're doing business for ourselves, but not by ourselves, because we have a lot of people around us to help us out, to go the mile with us. And I think it was on the mastermind last night, if I recall it right. Sometimes we hear so many things you don't know what it's from. But I heard somebody probably used the quote from Les Brown that was saying, the world is hurting because so many people are silent. So like you said, like you were able to find your passion and you like intervening on those mastermind because you could help people. And even that's how I discovered you. I remember one of the mastermind where you were talking about a vision board and, putting your plan in action and stuff like that. I was just like, wow, I need to talk to this lady, And I'm glad I did, because look at today, you're on my platform today, and I'm so thrilled to have you here and share your story. And because everybody else, at least somebody out there needs to hear this story, and I was blessed by it myself. So, and I can see how other people will be. So it's always a great thing. So to wrap up our interview today, when I'm not going to take too much of your time, we are so busy in our different lives, and before my little assistants come and get me, because I also have, kids. So how can somebody join this community? So if you can tell them.
Yeah, well, the first step, you've already taken the first step because you're here on Anne's page or you're watching this replay. So if you're curious about learning more, you're skeptical, that's good, because we want you to be curious and we want you to be skeptical. Ask questions, reach out. Watch the free info session. That's the best place to start, because it's going to answer a lot of your questions up front. And then when you have other questions, that's when you reach out and talk to us, because we, as you can see, we love talking about our businesses and we want to help you. And, we've been doing this a long time. And so we're ready to kind of help take you through the process and get you up and running too. And even when it's not like, here's your business, good luck, you actually are coming into our online family, and, we're going to be here for you no matter where you are in the world. I have business partners in the UK and people coming in from the Philippines and Australia. And so we all just help each other. And I guarantee you that wherever you are in the world, there's somebody not too far by that is actually doing this business too. So if you look into your own community, you're probably going to see that there are other people that are doing this that are just like actually nearby you. And so you'll have us, you'll have your online community, and you're also going to start finding networks that are actually in your physical location too, that you're just going to develop a whole different set of coworkers really from all over the world. It's Definitely. Really amazing.
Well, outstanding. Well, thank you. Well, this will resume, or at least not resume, but end our call today or live interview. But, I'm just so grateful, for this little time you took with me and with our audience. And a lot of people are at work probably today, but they will hop on later on when they can. Tell us if you were on replay and where you were connecting from. And just want to... thank you again for following our pages. So you have Katie's right there, and you have my website. So just do yourself a favor. Check us out and try something new this year. Go ahead.
There's one tonight too, because it's Thursday. I just remembered.
Yes.
So there's a live webinar tonight. So if you can catch it, just go and grab your space on the webpage there. See right there, backwards.
Yes,
grab your spot, and then you'll get a link to the website to the live webinar tonight, and you can check it out.
Yes, and it's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific,
Oh,
and
you're good.
probably 2 a.m. GMT. I'm trying to get good at those times.
You're good.
Those people are everywhere. So, yes, it's webinar day today. So thank you for reminding, yes, the audience about that. That's great. Yes. So, like I was telling my viewers, we have another interview this weekend. So, sit tight and stay tuned for more. We just want to keep this interesting and to tell you more about our business and hopefully encourage someone. Yes, who've been on the fence so long, and just hop on and join us in the family. We're waiting for you. So on that note, have a good day, night, or I don't know, maybe waking up. God bless. Thank you
Au
so much.
revoir.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.